right, guys, welcome back to the Still Loading podcast. This is episode 11. 11.
Oh my gosh.
Not just double digits, but like into double digits, which is really, really exciting. Very, very exciting.
Is that 11 counting the bonus episode, or is this really 12?
No, this is not counting because I think the bonus was what, 10.5. So
Yeah,
if
okay.
you're looking at like all of them, it's actually like 13 because with that one and the nice to meet you, there's
Oh,
some
right.
extra episodes in there as it is. But if we're looking at like just the numbers of like what have I put like 10, 11, 12 kind of situation on, this is 11.
And your mic sounds so great today.
Everybody was so like, it's fine, it's fine. I didn't even notice. It wasn't that big of a deal. I'm like, first of all, you did notice. It just wasn't super noticeable like as you went in. Cause like I went to go get breakfast this morning with one of our friends, Joey, and we were talking about it. He was like, well, make sure your mic works this time, Lizzy. I'm like, yes, thank you. And he was like, to be honest, he's like, I didn't really notice it. He was like, it took me all of like 2 minutes to forget that it was messed up. I was like,
Yeah.
I appreciate the sentiment. I was like, I just am more of a perfectionist and it bugged me and I was like stressed and I just had to let go of it though. I was like,
I felt bad because I couldn't tell if it was just the software or my computer or it was actually your mic, you know?
No, it definitely was. I thought it was my camera, but it was actually my headphones because when I opened it today, I went to go like triple check. And here I am looking like for a fourth time. And it showed my headset. So that's why it sounded kind of distant because I didn't have it like pulled out and everything, but it's okay. It's fine. We're good. We're ready. Mistakes get made and then they don't get made again because I learned fast. I'm a fast learner. Don't make mistakes. So, but how have you been?
Oh, I've been good. Yeah. We just we were at a wedding this weekend with some of my wife's school friends. It was our first wedding since we got married a year ago.
Always fun.
Well, and I feel like I see weddings different now because I know how much work goes into it. And I know just the feeling of like how much of a rush and how much of a blur it is. So like, you know, I made sure to do what my cousin did where like she stopped me and she said, Alex, like take a mental screenshot as often as you can today because you're not going to remember most of it.
Yeah. I think you hear that a lot, like going into weddings. You're like, people are like, it's going to go by so fast. And you're like, yeah, I know. And then you do it and you're like, holy, that was a lot of money for a really short amount of time, guys. And it's not really, it's like 8-10 hours, but it feels like 2 seconds. Like you're there and then you're leaving and you're like, wow, that was, I tried to do, if you're familiar with The Office, when Jim and Pam get married, there's a moment where they do like, they hold up like the fake camera, the invisible camera, and they goes, and I remember I did that one time sitting at we were eating dinner, and I remember I did it. And keep in mind, my husband is a huge Office fan. Did it, and he was like, "Huh? Do you want a picture to get taken?" And I was like, "Oh my god, you're like, you're killing me right now." So yes, it is. It's very you do get a new line of perspective, of appreciation going to weddings after your own.
Absolutely, yeah. And as far as like other life stuff, I've just been working on the last play that I'm going to do for the next probably couple of years, and you know, trying to play Zelda when I can. I've been in a heated Reddit debate with someone in the comments of a
wait, like
of
you're physically arguing with somebody, or you're just reading somebody else's argument?
Oh, I am physically entrenched in an argument, and it's the stupidest thing.
Tell me more. I'm listening.
Okay, so I commented on one of the Zelda subreddits, which someone made a post about like their thoughts on Echoes of Wisdom, and they were like, you know, I found the combat kind of boring, and then I said, and my comment was essentially, I kind of agree. I was like, it doesn't make a lot of sense that, you know, Zelda can't do any sort of like physical fighting at all. And I really hate that Aonuma has come out and said the reason why the character is Zelda and not Link is because they're like, oh, who's a character in the series who it would make sense that wouldn't wield a sword or have a weapon of their own? And I was like, excuse me, in 2024? What is this?
In this economy?
And I just said I didn't like. I think the interesting part of the echoes is when you're solving puzzles and being able to solve problems with the summons. It's not sitting there and waiting for the AI to realize that there's an enemy around for it to attack.
Yeah.
Like, why can't I just still summon enemies, but also be able to fight on my own? They could
Yep.
have made the combat harder.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely agree with that. I think like there's a lot of this combat that I was like, that was really easy. Like
Yeah.
that could have been a little bit more challenging, but okay.
Yeah, and uh, there are so many people upset in this comment section responding to my comment, be like, "You just don't understand.
Like,
She's a summoner. You wouldn't like to play summoners in RPGs." And I was like, "One, this is not an RPG. I DM D&D. I've been playing RPGs my whole life. Two, when I play Diablo, I always play the Necromancer. I love a summoner class. This is just shitty combat for no
yeah,
good reason."
y'all don't actually know what you're talking about. I mean, you have your thoughts and your feelings, whatever, they're valid, but I don't think you know who you're arguing with.
Well, it's just fun. Like, I was
Mhm.
like, why am I engaging? What am I getting out of engaging with angry people on the internet?
Mhm.
So I think from here on out, I'm never responding to any comment ever again.
Well, Reddit is a wild place as it is anyway, so
I hate it. It's the worst of times. It's the worst of
I
times.
don't ever use Reddit except for when I have questions. Like
Absolutely.
I wouldn't go on there looking through Zelda posts. Like there's no way because I would probably end up arguing with somebody too, and it's just
My
things I
my
don't
favorite
need.
My favorite is there are like two major Zelda subreddits. One is like our Zelda, and then the
Hmm.
other one is called our True Zelda. And it's all the like lore people that just like make their little like comments about like, how does this fit in with the Zonai? And I'm like, I don't think it does. I
That's
don't
a
think
lot.
Nintendo's that deep, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, so how have you been, Lizzie?
How
Oh,
far through Echoes of Wisdom do you think you are? Like how much
I
do you
just
think you have left?
I think I have 2 dungeons left.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
did Elden,
Hmm.
Volcano,
Yep.
and I'm on my way to Lenaru.
Okay. Cool. I probably have like 15% left of the game. At this
Okay.
point, I am pretty sure I'm nearing end game. So what I've been doing for the past 2 nights playing is going back to all the major like towns and making sure I've
Right.
gotten side quests done because I'm really bad about if I finish a game, I won't go back in and do anything else. So I'm like, if I want to get to as close as I can to 100%, because there's some things in the game that I'm like, I don't really care to do this. Like the acorn thing, I'm not
Oh, I
going and
gotta do it.
no, I'm not going to find all of them. And then there's another one. Have you done any of the dream thing in Kakariko Village? Where you
No,
go in, there's like a fight pit guy.
I haven't gone there yet.
Okay. Well, I'm not doing all of those. They're fun, but I'm not getting through all of that. There's no way.
I
So like there's a
it,
few things that I'm leaving off, but I'm definitely in the end game here.
I always 100% Zelda games, so I probably will. But I'm happy to go back after I beat the final game
See, I'm weird
and
about that.
clean stuff up.
Yeah.
But
But
I just need time to do it because I get up at 6 a.m. I go
oof.
for a little run for my little health, and then I work, and then I go to rehearsal, and then it's 10 o'clock, and I gotta go to bed.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
I don't blame you at all, honestly. But other than that, life's been good. A little stressful. It's out in the public now, so I can talk about it a little bit more.
oh,
I am moving, so trying to sell a house and move states is weird and stressful. So life
mm,
has been a little odd right now, but all for good reasons. I mean, this move is like a good move for anybody who's listening. Super excited. It's just to get us back towards like family and friends and everything. It's just like, you know, I am in my late 20s. I am an instant gratification child. Like I'm used to if I want things, if I can afford it, I just go and buy it. You
yeah.
know, if I want something, I download it. I'm used to instant gratification and there's
And you're the youngest
no
child, right?
mhm,
As
I'm
well.
also
Yeah,
the
me too.
youngest of four.
Mm,
So waiting around for a house to sell, and especially right now in the market is like not that great. An election is coming up, the holidays are coming up. So right now the housing market is really much just sitting still. Everybody's just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen.
mhm.
So that doesn't help my case of like I want it sold yesterday and I want to be ready to move. Yeah, so it's just you don't
Are
know
you
until you
saying
know.
people don't want to move over Christmas?
No, I'm hoping to. I really hope I'm not here still through Christmas, but we'll see what happens.
Hey,
So
one day at a
Someday
time.
you guys will tune in. There'll be a whole new setup for this
Are you
room.
going to tell people, or are we just going to start an episode Sunday and it's just going to be a completely different room?
Probably. Who
Hell yeah.
knows? I don't know. We might, because there's
We might
a
have to take a
chance that
break.
we're gonna have to like have like there's gonna be some overlap of like extra episodes that are pre-recorded. But yeah, so
Mhm.
other than that, same old working and twerking. Not really. But this episode I'm super excited about. We're gonna kind of do a slight throwback episode, but not just about games, just kind of things in general and how America. And a lot of these actually were also like Canada. So many of these were like, hey, this was invented or this started in Canada somewhere. But I have a bunch of old like commercials and just like reviews of old things, starting with Atari from 1982, and how like this is like what I consider the beginning of like a lot of gaming. I mean, I started looking at like really old games of like this brown box gaming or like just like the Pong game. But I feel like this is really where Atari kind of took off for gaming.
Sure.
And so 1982 is kind of crazy because that's a hot minute ago. So what you guys are going to hear is the commercial for Atari, so we can all listen together.
Only Atari makes the world's most popular home video games. The only Space Invaders. The only asteroids. The only Pac-Man.
Old school Pac-Man too.
The only Missile Command. And soon, the only Defender. And the only way you can play any of them is on a home video system made by Atari. Have you played Atari today?
Let's also bring back old frickin' commercials because those are incredible. Oh, let me see.
Gone are the days. Yeah, I love that. Like, I love that you just see like it goes from like really shitty gameplay to the like kids pog reacting to everything going on the screen. It kind of reminds me of, have you ever seen like those like games from like those ads from mobile games where they'll get like a streamer like Cutie Cinderella or someone to like pretend to be playing the game and be like, oh, I almost got it. And
it's like definitely like green screened on there too. Like it's not, there's nothing actually on their screen. I also love the, like you said, the original Pac-Man, like the one and only, and seeing how far like Pac-Man has come.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, it's also just like, it's also just a very different mindset of like, this is the only Pac-Man that will ever exist. Like, this is it. This is peak, because they're just at the beginning of all of these really big franchises, right? Whereas like now it's like, oh yeah, this is the only Metal Gear Solid game. Sure it is, or like oh, this is the last game, Baldur's Gate 3 is the end. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, we all know that's
companies don't let IPs die. What are you talking about?
Did you ever play? I had it on GameCube. It was Pac-Man, but Pac-Man was like 3D, and you could like move him around. He had legs.
No.
Oh man, yeah, I had it. I'm pretty sure it was on GameCube, and it was like, I think you might have been searching for Mrs. Pac-Man, maybe, but you were like 3D and like could move around. I would have to look it up. It was a great game. I remember loving it. But exactly to your point of like, to think that's it's not only just evolved in the way that it looks, but the way the game has been played has evolved a ton too, that you're not just like going through this like maze looking thing, but also can play as a 3D character.
Yeah. I also noticed that like a lot of consoles now, their commercials are more like try to sell a lifestyle, where like the Switch is like, showing people going from being on the subway to going home and plugging the Switch into the dock, and it starts playing on TV. And like, the Xbox and the PS5 definitely like try to market themselves as like the home entertainment system. It's interesting.
It is. That's why I heard somebody talk about a few of these the other day. on the radio, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny to like think about like how things have like come up. So, do you remember what your first cell phone was? What was your first cell phone?
I had a Razor flip phone.
Oh, I wanted a Razor so bad. God, I would have done anything to be the it girl with the pink Razor flip phone. I wanted one.
I had a blue one.
Oh my God. Nope. I wasn't that cool. I
I don't know
definitely
if I was
had
cool, but I had a Razor.
a silver, I think it was like Motorola, like flip, like real old school. Like
I
that
then
was the
had
first
one.
It was a brick.
I then had one where you'd like put it sideways and then you'd flip it up, and then there'd be the
hell yeah,
That was the shit.
Yep.
I used that phone into like late into high school, and then I conceded and got an iPhone. But
I remember the other one that I really wanted was it was like a rectangle, and you could flip it. I think it was like a music one, or I can't remember how they marketed it, but it would like it looked like this, and then it would flip, and it would flip up. And it was like double the space then. But I do remember having one that also like slid, and you had like a full on keyboard, and that.
Well, now the phones are going back to folding.
Yeah, I know. The freaking whatever.
Samsung or whatever.
Yeah, has
been a carpenter.
I've heard mixed reviews that like after a while you start to like see that seam in your phone. My husband's friend has one, and I think it's ridiculous. But well, this is the very first phone. This is the first cell phone in 1985. This is like when they started putting it in like cars.
Oh yeah.
And then it became like mobile, where you could like take it with you, like with the big box and everything. So this is from CBC, and I thought this one was really interesting because you get to hear
CBC.
Yeah.
Look at this CanCon getting put in here.
You'll get to hear them talk about how to make like phone calls and everything in your car, and like you have to wait, and how people were making like we'll have to talk about minutes in a second too. Hold on.
I don't have my CBC mug here.
The newest technology to use radio waves for communication, and they're miles ahead of the standard mobile or wireless phone. You simply put in the number on non-stick buttons.
Fun fact, this is Canada in 2015.
And wait a few seconds. Then it's business as usual, with a clear and consistent line of communication and services like long-distance call forwarding and conference calls.
The fact that you would like, I like that they part of their the big thing is like they're non-stick, because you got to think like for so long I'm sure like it was like you press, and that was kind of like you know it might not pop back up, or you think of like rotary phones. Like you gotta wait a hot minute for those things, those suckers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I love that like you can make local and long distance calls. You see?
I wish that I had it. Oh, here we go. Hold on one second. Let me pull this back up. She's gonna talk about how again, minutes. Did you have minutes like when you only could text so much, or you had like texting like limits as a kid? Because I did.
I did, but I don't remember like what my minutes were.
Neither do I. But she talks about it, and it's kind of funny to hear, because these things also to put them in your car was like $6,000, and I feel like $6,000 for 1985 is pretty freaking expensive. I mean, it's expensive now.
I'm just loving the Canadian content.
Oh yeah, I told you so many of these.
Someday, Lizzy, I'm going to take you through the history of Canadian awful Canadian commercials. We're going to talk about house hippos. We're going to talk about heritage minutes. It's going to be a real. I think I did a stream about this once, but it's a whole
incredible.
It's a whole world. It's a whole new world. Okay, and we're going to look at it. But anyways, back to this CBC breaking report about.
Long-range conversations. You are paying by the minute. Time equals money in this case. In the States, where the average business person talks about 125 minutes a month, they've even come to the point where some answer the phone by saying, "I'm talking to you on a cellular phone," which basically means stick to the facts, ma'am.
I mean, because it was expensive back then, dude. Like, you had to be like, get your point across before it's also funny to think of like having this thing in your car. You had to hook up this box to your battery to answer the phone, where now we like walk around like hello, And I thought it was a problem when I had a home phone and it had a fucking cord, man. Couldn't bring it to my phone.
I think that's going to be my new greeting. Every time I answer my phone, I'm going to be like, "Greetings, I'm talking you to from my cellular device, brought by the magic of the internet."
Oh, dude, wait till we get to the internet one too. Did I put that one on? I did put that one on here. That one's funny too, because man, people are tripping. But to have a phone in your car like that, and then be like, "Hey, if you don't have something important to say, shut the fuck up and hang up, please. Thanks."
I say that just because I don't want to talk to my coworkers, really.
Okay, talking to coworkers is different. I will tell you, I think it's also part of like our generation now of like not answering the phone and not calling people. I don't call people. I'm one of those people. Yes, I'm like, don't call me. The only people that I call are my parents.
That's good to know, because
Don't ever call me.
I'm big into calling people. No. I hate texting because people are awful at communicating and awful at responding. But if I call them, I got you on the hook, and I'll be like, "Answer my 3 questions." "Okay, goodbye," and I hang up.
No,
it's 30 seconds of my
If
life.
you call me, I'm probably not going to answer, and then I'm going to text you and be like, "Hey, you called? What'd you need? I need a debriefing before we get on this phone call about what you need, because otherwise it can probably be sent through text message." And I'm also one of those people, I'm really annoying texter, where I do not group my thoughts, okay? My text messages for this, and also this. My friends hate it. They're like, "You couldn't send that all in one thing." I'm like, absolutely not. No. Part of it is because I don't know how to, I am horrible at grammar. So if I just break it all up, it doesn't matter. Okay.
I think it's also just like, my neurodivergence of like, I don't want to like take the time. Like, as soon as I have finished a thought and I've typed it up, I hit go, and almost always I have at least one incorrect word or one missing word or one misspelled word. I'm just like, whatever, just go.
90%,
my brain's
90% of my Instagram posts, somebody comments and is like, "You've fucked up like 3 things." I'm like, at this point, I don't even care. Okay. Next up, 1993. This is at Burger King. Okay, this is when credit cards became a thing. Wow. You think of that now because like cash has become like very, like, somebody asked me for cash, I'm like, it's not.
Now I walk into the convenience store and I say, "I'm paying with my cellular device," and I tap my phone and I leave.
That is true. I don't even carry a credit card. I carry my phone because of Apple Pay, and it makes my life so much easier. That's funny. That's true too. Credit cards, like the actual act of having a credit card, is becoming a little bit less and less because everybody uses Apple Pay.
Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't think about that. So yeah, this one is people in Burger King being like, having a credit card is going to take too long, guys.
The home of the Whopper is offering cash or credit.
I think it's pretty bad if you have to use a credit card when you go to a fast food restaurant for something as little as $3.10.
If I use my GM card, I get a 5% rebate. Thank you. If I eat here long enough, I'll be able to buy a pickup truck.
Burger King bosses say workers won't.
So I love it, because here's something interesting also. So when at that time in 1993, average Whopper meal was $3.10. Do you have a guess for how the average Whopper meal is today?
American or Canadian?
American. Sorry.
$13.50.
$15.49.
Okay.
That's wild.
That is wild.
That's crazy. Also, fuck Burger King.
Fuck Burger King.
I was just talking
about. It's the worst one.
It's horrible. I've got fuck chicken fries because they gave me food poisoning twice. Why did I go back a second time? I don't know.
I think that it's just like the F tier of fast food.
I agree.
And that's coming from a country that has like a quarter of the fast food places that the States does.
True.
So
when Hip Hop comes to the States, we're going on
fast food.
Yeah, we're gonna go. I told him that I'm gonna bring him and his wife on the tour of fast food of America, because you gotta try. I mean, you have McDonald's, but McDonald's, we're skipping Burger King. Fuck that. Bojangles. Some good ass chicken.
Every time I travel anywhere that has a Five Guys, I get Five Guys.
Ooh, we have a Five Guys not too far from here. Five Guys is good. They do got good French fries.
The hotel that I stayed at in London was next to the Five Guys in Piccadilly Circus.
Oh.
And I ate there every day when I was in London, sometimes twice.
Damn. Was it good?
Love Five Guys.
Did it start over there?
No.
Okay.
When
I was
you
gonna
go
say,
in,
really?
yeah, when you go in, it's like, like quotes of reviews from like, middle of nowhere Oregon and Rhode Island. And then they're like, it's so American. Look at what the Americans say about their fast food. And I'm just like, look, if this wasn't the best fast food I've ever had, I would judge right now. But you know what? I love me some Five Guys.
I haven't had it in a while, but it is very good. I agree on that one. So next up is 1993, and this is Mortal Kombat. This one, okay, so I can't get into the fighting games like these. This is not my cup of tea, if I'm being honest.
Sure.
Oh,
more CBC, love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of CBC ones. They had a lot of videos that I was looking for, okay?
It's great.
But I don't know if I put it in this one, but I love how worried people are, I mean, back then and today, about how violence might affect children because they're playing violent video games.
Let's watch Let's Become Violent.
It's a one-on-one fighting game. You begin by facing your opponent one-on-one and using special weapons or kicks or punches to defeat him.
Wow.
On the left, Bill Malice, video game aficionado. On the right, Rose Dyson of Canadians concerned about violence in entertainment.
I can either punch him
Very
over,
brave of
knock
her
him over, or
to stand next to this youth playing a video game. He might decide to uppercut her in the middle of that video game store.
Or chop his head off. So again, like, it's funny to see these like kind of like overarching themes that like still years later we're still worried about kids with violence in video games. Did you play Mortal Kombat? Were you a Mortal Kombat kid?
We played other ones. There was one on the N64. I remember there was a fighting game on the N64. I can't remember what it was called that I played a lot of. Obviously, played a lot of Smash Bros. Over the years.
I can't do Smash. It pisses me off. I'm like, what? Yes, I'm smashing buttons. That's all I'm doing. And then I'm going to smash a fucking wall in a minute because I don't know how to win.
Well, the first step is to not get hit. And then you got to get good.
Yeah, I get hit and then I am going to hit. Is my problem.
Yeah, I think it's... the discourse around violence in video games, I feel like, is a little different now. Like, it literally, like, every time there was a school shooter for the longest time, the discourse was, oh, they liked to play Doom. And at least now it's a little more nuanced. But yeah, it's basically, I feel like studies have proven that there's no real correlation between
I was gonna say, how do you feel about it? Do you think that there is something? Because I think maybe in like certain aspects, like if you have a kid who maybe came from a really broken home, and if you look at like therapy and things like that, of like kids who come from a broken home are already more likely to potentially be more violent, and then maybe you're stacking that on top of it, like maybe there's some kind of evidence there, but the overall theme, like if we're going to put it in a vacuum, I don't think it has anything to do with violence in children.
I think there's just a lot more to do with genetics and socioeconomics and than there is to do around playing violent video games. Just the number of people that play Call of Duty and then don't go and buy a gun and shoot people is pretty overwhelming. I think it's an easier scapegoat than tackling the actual issues. Right?
Yeah. Like, what? Let's just pretend like our kids aren't actually depressed, and that's why they're angry and fighting. We'll just blame it on the big corporations making a bunch of money, and that's an easy scapegoat. It's because my kids are playing Mortal Kombat or Call of Duty.
Yeah. Let's blame what's that Pokemon with guns, Pal World, instead of blaming the real gun control issues in the world.
Yep. Again, on probably people had so many problems with this because they're like, oh my god, it's gonna stir the pot and there's gonna be so much problem. 1995, when the internet officially hit.
Sure.
Oh,
go for it. No, go for it.
Were we going to go down a rabbit hole?
We're about to go down a rabbit hole. This isn't a politics podcast. I was gonna talk about a Vice video. It's fine. It's fine.
I could see it in the face that we were gonna go spiraling quickly. So yeah.
Get away. Yeah, go ahead.
Never mind. 1995. Yeah, the internet coming out and people being like, oh God, this is gonna be horrible. Like everybody's gonna be on the internet, everybody's gonna be just, this is all we're gonna ever do. And I love this because they're talking about the @ symbol and they don't understand what the @ symbol is. And we use it like obviously like in, emails for everything. And they're like, I don't know what is this little A looking thing?
Oh, that's that little mark with the A and then the ring around it. @ See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it. I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
Just what is this main artery of the information superhighway?
Every business, no matter how large, and no matter how small, will be on the internet in the year 2000.
Which is also kind of crazy when you go, they're all going to be on the internet in the year 2000. And I think it's very similar to like us, like 10 years ago being like, oh, by today we'll have flying cars, which is a little bit different. We obviously don't have flying cars, but everybody is on the fucking internet now.
But everyone was on the internet by the year 2000.
That too, yeah.
I just like, because, whenever there's like a new hot technology, I just love how people are like trying to make sense, and then they're always selling it like, you hear it all the time with AI, like, oh, AI is going to take all our jobs in 3 years. I get that a lot. Yeah, it's kind of wild. I'm willing to bet that there was some dude in the backwoods that was trying to link the @ symbol to Satan. They'll be like, Satan has 2 ways. It's in the middle of a circle. It's a sacrifice circle.
I mean, I think it's hard to like try to get on the bus for a lot of these things. But speaking of buses, actually, I do think I am very curious because I do wonder if like in another 10 years, if we're going to look back at like right now of them being like, here's these self-sufficient cars and buses, and are they going to look back and be like, God, look at these guys. They didn't think that this was going to work. But here we are going, especially, okay, the fucking robots, guys. I'm not putting a robot in my house. We have seen too many of these horrible movies where robots turn on us. Okay. No, I don't want it. iRobot. Hello, freaking Jarvis. Well, I mean, Jarvis was
Terminator.
Fine. Terminator. But no, in Marvel,
Small Soldiers.
All of them. We've seen enough movies about putting freaking robots in our house. You don't need it. You'll be okay. You can fold your own damn laundry.
What I'm saying is, I think there's tiers of robots. Okay, because I think I could take an unlimited number of Roombas. I don't think there's a number of Roombas that could take me down. All right. Even if they deliberately start like aiming at me, I think I could take a million Roombas. Just stomp on each one of them.
But do you think that you would have a full ass fucking robot in your house doing your dishes?
No.
I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
No, because I couldn't take it.
It would it would weird me out. Like even people are like, what if it's like when you have to plug up, so like you can unplug it or a kill switch, and I'm like, I don't know, they're gonna get too smart and they're gonna find a way around it, and then we are gonna be slaves. I don't even want to let
people into my house that I don't think I could take in a fight. Why would I let a robot in that I couldn't take in a fight?
So you're not letting people in your house that you're like, if I can't beat the shit out of you, you can't come in. So.
I mean, why not? Why not? I'm kidding.
All right, so I gotta bulk down a little bit before I go see Alex, guys. I'm gonna walk and he's like, "Whoa, there, Lizzy, take 3 steps back, thank you."
Yeah. No entry for you, Daniel. Come in.
I was gonna say Daniel's really the problem with his 6'3" self. Like you're gonna be like that. He's the one that people need to watch out for, not me. Did you have a Tamagotchi?
I didn't. My sister did. I did not.
Really? Oh man, did your sister love her Tamagotchi? Did she ever lose it or kill it?
I think being able to care for things was something that came to my sister much later in life. Her cat's alive, and that's great. But I don't think as a child or even as like a teenager or a young adult, she could even take care of a plant.
Well,
So
I had a Tamagotchi as a kid. And I remember, because I wasn't allowed, you couldn't bring them to school. At least for me, I wasn't allowed to bring them to school. So my mom was a nurse, and she would hide it in her scrubs, and she would take it to work with her, and she would take care of it. And that's how my Tamagotchi stayed alive. But the Tamagotchis came out in 1997, so I definitely had mine a little bit later. But it was quite the craze, and that's what you're going to hear is these kids talking about how amazing Tamagotchis were.
Because they're great. I mean, everybody's playing with them, and everybody likes them, and they're lots of fun to use.
Vancouver.
In Vancouver, there are no Tamagotchis to buy, but imitations are available and selling fast.
Yeah, it's mental. We've been selling them all weekend. Yeah, kids are coming in with their parents. Everyone's buying them.
3 years ago, the $40 Tamagotchi
$40 is also
in
wild.
Asia.
That is
now
wild.
it's spread to Canada, and this is what that craze is all about. A small liquid crystal game that, when activated, hatches an egg.
I want a new one. I want another one. I want one for now.
Didn't Tamagotchis have a bit of like resurgence last year? Like
They
people
did.
started buying them again.
I'm curious to see what they cost today. Hold on, I'm gonna look at Amazon, but I do think
I'm guessing $60.
I
That's
don't
my
think
guess.
it's that much. Let's see. Yeah, no, you can get a Tamagotchi. It's original Tamagotchi, and it's $16.
Not bad.
Or you can get the Hello Kitty one for $20. So
Wow.
I'm playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
No, you're not. We talked about this.
Yeah, I know. Instead of playing WoW. But yeah, I had a Tamagotchi. I thought I loved that stupid little thing. And now, yes, I want a new one. I want one that I can just like take with me. I'm gonna hook it on my purse or something. But I think they did have like a recent resurgence of upbringing. It's kind of like, did you ever have Nintendo dogs or Nintendo cats?
Nintendogs?
Yeah.
I did not.
God,
I'm sorry.
You were not fostering your inner dad, obviously.
True. True. I was also not really much of a pet person until like high school.
Huh.
Because
never got.
I was like a sick kid when I grew up. Like I was in and out of the children's hospital a lot, and it was because of like a really severe allergy to dust, which is like completely gone. So I just didn't we just didn't have pets. And then when the kids started moving out, my parents got a dog, and that was really like the first pet that I bonded with. She's still kicking. Her name's Molly.
Is it golden retriever?
Yeah, they have 2 golden retrievers.
Okay. I never had animals growing up. I think that's why my dad was very much like, no, we're not getting animals. No animals. We had a cat. I did have a cat, actually. Another thing about it. His name was Buddy. Okay. And then he was a little like sand colored cat. That we were living in an apartment at the time, and one of the people in the community had a cat who had kittens. My mom got one for me as a surprise, and his name was Buddy. And then he got older, and he got really chunky, and then we started calling him Fat Cat, and then that was the only thing he responded to. So our cat's name is Fat Cat.
Oh no!
Yeah, unfortunately,
poor Buddy.
He got really sick, and he passed before we moved. When I moved here, and so that was a really sad time because that was like really hard as like a first ever pet, and then our dog Luna was my first ever like real dog.
Sure.
Outside of my Nintendo dogs, that I had a lot of Shiba Inus on Nintendo dogs. That was my go-to.
Shiba Inu. I remember that was one of the first streams I ever watched was a puppy cam of Shiba Inus.
It was a puppy cam? That's so cute.
Yeah, it was like it was in high school, or it might have been first year university. No, it was high school. And basically this person had it was like a breeder for Shiba Inus, and I think that they like streamed the Inus while they napped as like fundraising for their
so cute
for their business. And yeah, I watched a lot of it whenever I was like doing homework. It was chill time.
I would watch puppies. 100% would watch puppies.
Yeah, they spent most of the time sleeping, but it was great.
I get stuck on puppy TikTok, and then it's a whole. Okay, this is a complete side note. Before we go, I have something I want to talk to you about, and it's about your favorite band. So don't let me forget.
Okay.
Towards the end of this, after we have one more. This is my bonus one.
Is this like a post podcast thing?
No, we could talk about it on here. If anybody knows Lawrence, I think people will appreciate some of this. I might have to pull up two videos to show you what people are saying on TikTok.
Oh no, is this about the people just shitting all over Gracie? No, I don't want to talk about that on the pod. All right.
Have you heard the side-by-side comparison though of her song and the Star Wars song when they're in the bar or when they're with Jabba the Hutt?
No.
Okay, well.
No. Okay, we'll do this. We'll do this fine. Maybe after. I can't.
Anyways, if you guys are interested, go look
People
it up.
People are bullying my favorite
TikTok.
Band online, and I
you know, if you guys are wondering,
if you guys music related.
If you've ever heard the band when they go see Jabba and it's like and she's like singing at the top of her lungs. Yeah, they're not happy with how those songs sound very similar and how apparently that song. What song is that?
I'm sorry, but no one criticizing Gracie Lawrence can sing half as well as she can. She has incredible chops.
What You Want?
What You Want, yes.
Yeah, everybody says it sounds like a JCPenney commercial.
Well, they sound terrible. All right, their music criticism sounds like a knockoff fucking Anthony Fantano. Okay, back off.
I'm gonna let.
I can't object. You know, I can have nuanced talks about why I think Echoes of Wisdom is like a really good Zelda game, but not perfect and kind of sexist. I can't objectively talk about Lawrence on this podcast. I'll get too upset.
I'll send him to you after. If anybody's interested, like I said, there's been I saw like 3 videos this morning on TikTok about Lawrence versus Star Wars versus JCPenney. So yeah, it's a whole thing. So okay, last video that I'm gonna show and you guys could listen. Also, side note, if you guys want to see this one is for sure going on YouTube. I know I keep saying that and then I haven't been posting them, and my original plan was to get back into content on the last episode, but the last episode and the whole mic situation, I was like, forget it. So this one will definitely be on YouTube, so you guys
back
can
on
see.
YouTube for real this time.
Yes, you guys can actually see us and see these videos. So find us on YouTube at the Still Loading Podcast. So this one is funny because this is when Zelda became a big thing, and again, kids were playing this game a ton, and parents once again were like,
"Is this the rap?
Oh God, huh?
Is this the rap about Legend of Zelda? That commercial?
No, there's a rap about Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's amazing. Anyway.
So this is parents being like, "Oh God, my kid's addicted to this game."
To successfully complete, and it's not uncommon for kids to spend hours playing it non-stop. It's also not uncommon for parents to become concerned over video game addiction. That's according to University of Washington psychologist Laura Kastner.
Well, I think the biggest problem is that the stimulus value of the video games is so high that the children are likely to want to spend a great deal of time involved with them.
She's not wrong.
And then the parents start having concerns about whether this is the kind of activity they want the child to be involved in for 4 or 5 hours a night.
I remember,
4 or 5 hours a night.
She's not, they're not wrong because, for granted, I'm a grown-ass adult. I make my own damn choices, and I spend a lot of my time sitting and playing Zelda, too. But
Party Animals.
And Party Animals, yeah. But I think of, as a kid, of, how often I did used to go outside versus how often kids nowadays go outside.
Yeah.
Like, I had to go outside. That's where the majority of my fun was. But and don't get me wrong, I wanted to go in and play games a lot, but a lot of that happened after my friends and I had to be inside. So like if it was like, hey, you have to be home when the lights turn, the street lights on, it's like, okay, that will be my time to then go inside and play Zelda, or like early in the morning. I hardly ever like played in the middle of the day situation.
I actually think yeah, because I used to be a big like play outside kid, but once I started running cross country competitively and like really having to like track mileage and like maintain like injuries, like prevent injuries, I spent a lot more time inside playing video games because I couldn't play outside because I had to, I had to watch my mileage and my time on feet. But
and this is the last one that I'm gonna have y'all listen to, which I was appalled. Did not know this was a thing. Okay, what do you do? Okay, so we have the internet now. So if you have a question about video games, you Google it. Okay, back in the day, you just went through a walkthrough. Okay, if you didn't have a walkthrough, what do?
You call them.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh,
That's
well,
wild. Did you guys know that? Please let me know, because I had no idea that you could call these freaking kids. I want this job, first of all. You call these people and they're like, you go, yeah, how do I get X, Y, and Z? And they walk you through the video game.
I feel like if I were to call you and do that, you'd be like, I don't fucking know, figure it out yourself.
Rude.
Like if you didn't know off the top, be like, oh, just go to that guy who gave you the thing, and then.
Rude. Anyways, listen to this. This is crazy.
Take care. Okay, and you'll go down into another warp zone. And what you're going to want to do then is go into that first warp pipe, and that will take you down to the minus world.
Nintendo of America has 75 full-time game counselors on staff. They handle an average of 25,000 phone calls from all over the country each week, calls that are not toll-free.
How do you get the wand? Is the wand in 7?
No, you're going to get the red candle in 7, just like in the first quest.
It's just wild to me. They used to be able to call somebody and they would walk you through it. Like, that's so freaking cool. I need to call my mom and be like, did you ever, because my mom played video games. That's like how I got into gaming. I really need to know if my mom ever had to call somebody and be like, hey, how do you do this?
I only know about this not because I'm not old enough to remember doing this.
Yes, he is, guys. Yes, he is.
I'm not.
He is.
We're the same age. You might even be older. But anyway.
He's a liar. He lies.
There was a TV show. There was a TV show that I watched. Was it the American Crime Story, the story of O.J. Simpson, or is it another one where I watched a TV show where she was like some sort of like like a cop or like detective, and then her like home life was playing Tomb Raider, and the way that they had like her talk while she was showing her playing the video games is she would call the helpline and be like, yeah, it's me, and then like like, how do I do this, and then they'd like walk her through it.
Wait, this isn't a TV show?
This was like a recent TV show, but it was set in the 90s or 80s.
I wonder if it's the same thing Daniel had watched recently, because he was the one who told me about this. That's how I knew about it previously before finding it on YouTube last night.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry. He also was watching something and I think had learned about it. So I'm wondering if you guys were watching the same thing.
Maybe it was like some sort of true crime thing. Mm-hmm. I thought it was the O.J. Simpson one, but it might not have been.
That is funny. Again, like, I don't know. It just would be so weird to call somebody and be like, also like, how do you qualify yourself as one of those people to work for them? Like, hey, or what are the qualifications? Like, let's say they're talking about Tomb Raider. Like, you had to have been able to play it 3 times. Like, how do you say like, yeah, I've played this game enough to be qualified to answer these questions?
My guess is that they actually just had it all scripted out. So they're like, when they're in this spot, here's the step by step.
They did have papers, so I'm wondering if it was like kind of their own set of like a walkthrough of sorts. You know, that's smart. That very well could be it.
That's my guess.
I kind of want to do some more digging on that one because I am curious. Maybe we restart, and you guys can call Alex because apparently I'll tell you to fuck off. And
No,
he'll
if
tell
I were
you.
to call you would tell me to fuck off.
Not everybody.
Not
just
everybody.
Alex.
If I were to call you to ask you what to do in a video game, you would tell me to fuck off.
Y'all could ask Alex how to do some really cool things in Breath of the Wild because he knows how to do some of the speed run stuff. I don't know how. I don't understand. That's another question I have: is how in the world do people who find glitches in speed runs? How did you figure this out? Like, okay, if you stand here and you look this direction, you do 3 backflips and the plus AB, you're good. Like, how did you fucking figure that out? I need to know.
They just sit in Discord calls and blow themselves up with bombs for like 10 hours until something works. Basically,
wild. If by chance somebody has found one and you're listening to this, let me know because I
have found a glitch in a video game for speedruns once in my life.
Really?
Yeah, little known lore. Not recently, before I was a streamer, I briefly speed ran a game called Kamiko, and in Kamiko, I found like one glitch where like if you ran up the side of a bridge, enemies wouldn't spawn, and that was like my only contribution to routing the game.
Is there a cat behind you?
There is a cat behind me.
That's what I thought. I thought I saw a tail. Sorry, I just needed to add that in there because I saw. Well, guys, this is fun. I enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun going through YouTube and like finding these clips and just learning about like people's mind being blown about like credit cards and stuff is really, really fun to watch. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. But yeah, again, we appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us and all the feedback and just, continuously supporting us. We appreciate it a ton. And I hope you guys, enjoyed it. And we will talk to you guys next time. Go find us on Instagram, the Still Loading Pod. Most of it, if you type in the Still Loading Podcast with Lizzy and Alex, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and then obviously Spotify and Apple Music.
There are several Still Loading podcasts.
Yes, there are.
There's only one with us.
There's only one with us. That's hint. The Lizzy and Alex part. We appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have a fabulous Monday. And we will see you guys next time.